Okay.
All right. Brenda, are you
Yeah,
somewhere where
yeah.
you can at least see a couple of things when I start sharing? If not, you can watch the replay. No big deal. All right. Let's get formalities out of the way. My name's Todd Schneider, REO guy, or at least I think I am. I wanted to start out this class, first of all, what it is. The first few minutes on every one of these calls, this is our first one. um, I'm going to give an update of anything that I know, or possibly things that I've heard, new sites, new possible asset managers that we can reach out to, that sort of thing. That'll be the first 5 minutes or so ish. And then we'll move forward with any training that I want to talk about. Okay. And today's topic, and probably the next 2 or 3 sessions, are going to be about lead generation for distressed off-market properties, even on-market properties, where you can take these with. Um, Now, Michelle, I know you're new, so you have not. I don't. Are you fully on board yet with PA or Jersey? I'm sorry. Okay. Um, you need to go to the oh crap, I'm drawing a blank. What's up? Express offers. It's on demand. It's within EXP. They don't teach you how to sell properties or anything, but they give you the procedure on how to submit an offer through the express offer program that we have here at EXP. That program is one of the 3 or so main reasons why I joined EXP and hung up my broker's license. Okay, just so you know. So you'll need to do that. It's on demand. It'll take you approximately 4 hours. Okay,
Okay. Where
just
and can I
FYI.
find that in here? Where can I find that?
Well, we'll show you how to get to it, but if
Oh,
you're fully
okay.
on board, you can start doing that training. I just did it in a Saturday afternoon.
Oh yeah, I was muted, but I've been I've been a Jersey agent since 2016. So I'm
Okay.
100%
Anyway,
there.
you'll want to get that. That's one of our tools. All right.
Okay.
Once you have your login, you'll be able to go in and search your area or your state even, and find who the buyers are, and you can submit offers online to them. Now, they may or may not want it. All right. Okay. But you can do that. They do land, they do, I don't think they do commercial, but off market distress, single family, some of them do condos. You'll see that in the system. And I can even do a whole class on that, well, a whole class, 15 minutes on it where everybody can see and all of that. So
I
anyway,
take a 15-minute class on that.
okay. So let's get started with the update. Right now, what I have is right now they've pushed out. Okay, let me back up. Got somebody very new. I have a relationship with somebody who just started an asset management company. The gentleman that is involved with it owned his own asset management company before. Okay, he sold it. He stayed on to give them help and support and the name, basically recognition. And then eventually his agreement, non-compete agreement expired. So then he started another one. Okay, so that's the way that goes. Anyway, they're off the ground. They're running. We thought last year that they would have more assets coming out by now. They don't. They're working on the contracts. I know who the companies that are involved with are coming on board with them. However, they're still doing contractual stuff and this, that, and the other. And right to date, they've only pushed out about 150. Okay. The goal is 5,000 by mid to late summer. And I'm going to show you guys a heat map that, if I can get to it. Screen. What to do with it. So just Just looked at it. Where'd it go? I know I opened it. Oh, come on. Where did it go? Oh. Here we go. Sorry, guys. Okay, this is a heat map. This right here represents approximately 1/3 of the properties. He didn't put them all in. It takes time to do this. But he put in about 1/3 of the ones that are in the pipeline that are coming in that they expect to be out by early summer. Okay. So I can't zoom in. This is what he sent me. So like I said, you can look at kind of your areas, at the little dots and this, that, and the other. And this is about 1/3 of what they expect, and they actually have in their pipeline that is going REO. They're in some form of foreclosure at this point. Okay, default. Let's just call it default. So there's the map of what they expect. You're up in Jersey. I can't zoom in any closer to show anything, but there's quite a bit in that area. Philly area, it's a lot. Just, Charlotte. Uh, Nashville doesn't have much. That's surprising. My area, Indianapolis, Florida, the coasts, so on and so forth. And let's see, down in Texas.
Hey, Todd, since we don't have a key, what's the significance of the orange and the red?
The orange is the assets. The red represents agents that they have right now in their system that are qualified to take those assets. Okay. And I believe some of them represent us, the ones that have. And Lynn, that's another thing I need an updated list based on yesterday's back and forth conversation. So that's that. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. He tells me that I hate this stuff. I need an assistant to run this. How to get back to it?
Just stop sharing your screen.
Well, I can't find that button.
Yeah.
It disappeared on me. I've got us and a, come on, man.
Press escape, Todd.
Just as escape. That didn't work.
Can you hover by by our pictures?
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay. It's another separate box that was off in the outer space somewhere. Anyway. Okay. So that's those guys. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about the companies, but there's 6 companies that are coming on board with them, that have signed contracts with them. One of them is a small one. They're already on board. One of them is probably medium size, and I think they're on board, but they're not completely moved in everything over, because you got to try to understand, you got an asset management company and another asset management company. You have to shift from one to the other. So it takes a little bit of movement of assets, and they have to get everything taken care of. The big one will be on board by May. The contract is in place. That's the big one. It's a huge servicer. It's like the 3rd largest servicer in the nation. Okay. And there's the other one there, medium size. Anyway, the goal is that about 5,000 assets coming on board by, let's say, July, August. Okay. They had to push it back a month or two just simply because of all the legalities that they're dealing with the old asset managers and these new people. Okay. Everybody's fighting to keep their money. Okay. And I would too. Don't get me wrong. So there was some legal filings to try to slow it down or stop it, and they can't stop it. They can use whoever they want, but there is a procedure that they have to go through. You understand legal, so no one wins except the attorneys. So that's the way that works. So I'm going to give you an interesting update on HUD. Now, I don't have confirmation of this, but in my mind, I basically do. Okay. HUD, Brenda, you may not know this either. As you know, the government contracts everything, from paper clips to missiles. Okay. That's just what they do. And they even, I joke that they don't do personnel. They don't contract those out, but they actually do. They're called mercenaries working overseas where we don't want to, quote, be involved. We do that too. And that's a fact. Anyway, HUD contracts with vendors around the nation to dispose of their assets. There's two sides to that. One is field services, the people who cut the grass, change the door locks. If there's a hole in the roof or a leak, they repair it or tarp it, those types of things. They take care of that, and there's a separate contract for that. On the asset management side, is what obviously we're interested in. They have the contracts, they have been bid, and my guy at HUD tells me that these contracts are being awarded any day now. Every 4 to 5 years, these contracts change hands. Companies bid on them. Some of the same companies bid on them. They just form a new entity and call it something else, but it's the same people. Okay. I've been a HUD listing broker since 2010. And I know pretty well how it works. I know most of the inner workings, especially my time with David at First Preston. He really taught me a lot on the back end of that stuff and how it works. In any event, here's what occurred. I have an independent broker that I know in Ohio. He reached out to me last week and he said, "Hey, Todd, you going to Washington?" And I said, "No, why?" And he says, "This particular person, I'm not going to name their name, but this particular person, they're the owner of this company, reached out to him in Ohio and invited him to come to a quasi-secret meeting in the first week of May." And I said, "Quasi-secret?" I know the guy, so we talk shit. And anyway, he told me what was going on. He told me the name of the person, and I was like, why?" Because I'm trying to get Michigan. He's also licensed in Michigan. He wants Michigan HUD properties, but he is a current HUD listing broker in the state of Ohio. Okay, currently, like I am. Okay. He was invited to this meeting by this particular person. Then I started putting two and two together. This particular company does have current, what we call prime vendor contracts with HUD. They have a couple of states. They have never been in the state of Ohio. Okay. And I know these contracts are getting ready to be awarded. So I have a feeling this person already knows, they've been notified that they are the awardee of at least Ohio. Now, that's the only thing I know right now. I'm reaching out to my network, but nobody has gotten back with me yet. But anyway, she is having a meeting in Washington with Ohio brokers, and he wants to get Michigan. He didn't say that they got Michigan. He just was talking about Ohio. So that tells me where probably the contracts have been awarded, at least to some so far, because they don't just go all out of one day. It's several days that they get awarded to the people they notified. So here's what happens. They get notified. The next step is they have to get their bond together, because they're not going to purchase a bond until they're told, okay, that they've got the contract. So they're going to purchase the bond. And that could be 3, 5, 10 million, depending on the size of the contract. And that's no small expense, by the way, especially on a government contract. Then they have to give them their key personnel. Who's going to be authorized to sign documents, who's going to be doing what, when, and where, okay? Then HUD has to vet them, approve them, and many of them have already been vetted, but they have to vet them and approve them. Then they start the spin-up period, okay? They begin. You got one asset manager over here that's going to be winding down. You got one asset manager that's spinning up. And there's a process, and I won't bore you with the process, but there is a process on how they do it and how they transfer it over. So in any event, in my mind, those contracts, if not all, some have already been announced to the awardees. That's what they call the quiet period. While they're doing all this stuff behind the scenes, getting their paperwork, the bonds and everything taken care of, giving it to HUD, HUD approves it, and then they continue the spin-up period, which makes sense because this is the 1st of April. So that period takes a week or two, maybe 3, and then the announcement comes out, everybody knows, and boom, we're off to the races. Once we know who those prime vendors are for each state or region, because some states are coupled together, some are individual. I think Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama are together in a 3-state package. It just depends on how it's broke up. But once we know, then we go to their websites and we get everybody signed up. And then I go to work reaching out to the asset managers that I personally know, and even the ones I don't know. Because what happens with HUD is when one contractor loses the contract and the new one comes on board, a lot of those same people scurry over to the new company because they don't need to be trained. They just need to learn their system, but HUD procedures, how the work is done, what's done, how it's done, all that. Okay, that's just the way it works. They all scurry. Most of them, not all, but most. So they have a guaranteed job. And they can do a lot of it remotely, especially in today's world. So that's the way that works. So I got a feeling within today's the 3rd, I'd say by the 10th to the 15th, I'll know who these people are. Okay. So then, yeah, go ahead.
I just have a question. So last year we did the whole thing with Accelerus. Should I just go and update that, or is it a different platform this year?
This is HUDhomestore.gov. All right.
So what do I need to do on HUDhomestore.gov to be ready if any listings come out?
Well, the first thing is there's a procedure you have to go through. Okay. It's not a matter of signing up on maybe this is a bit confusing and I apologize. Signing on Accelerus, setting up with them, this is very different. Okay. You have your broker for the state has to have something called an NAID number, national something identifier, whatever. Anyway, I forget the acronym, but we use in HUD, you use acronyms for everything. So anyway,
I actually got that yesterday.
Yep.
To be on the what they call the bidding side.
Yes.
But there's also a listing side. So
but you don't have access to that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you how. Okay. Once we know who the prime vendor are, first thing is you need to get signed up as a bidder under your broker. Okay. That's step 1. Step 2, when we know who these prime vendors are, then we are going to put together your resumes, packages, all the stuff. Okay. We're going to sign up on their website because they are the contractor. Okay. They decide who gets to list the properties for HUD in your area.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to do all of that, get everything submitted. Okay. And then I'm going to go to work once they're submitted. I'm going to go to work reaching out to the asset managers saying, hey, blah, 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 blah. Email, text, phone calls. That's my job from there on out, is to get you all in. Now, that being said, there is no guarantee that I'll get you in as a listing broker in your area, but I think I have a 50-50 chance. Actually, I think it's better than 50-50, but let's just say 50-50. Okay. So some will, some won't. All right.
I have a question also. Say for instance, this worked and I get a listing or something like that. If I had someone who I was working with
Mhm.
that I know might already want that property, is it okay for me to let that person know, hey, this I'm putting this house on the market. Do you want to come see it? Is it okay to do it?
Absolutely. Market the hell out. Said the day you know you're getting a listing, let me show you something. Let me get into my account. Give me just a minute. This is two-factor authentication. They just changed this about a month and a half ago. So let me get my code. There it is. I'm not still sharing, am I? Okay. Let me go back to sharing. Can you all see this? Can you all see
We can
this?
see it. We can see it. Yeah.
All right. This is the back end of the HUD system that the agents are allowed and the brokers are allowed to see. Okay. I can look up a whole lot of stuff in here, but 1C, 1 Charlie, is what they call ready to show condition. This it gets once it hits this site or on this status, they call it steps. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's more. But once it hits here, then at that point, it gets assigned to an agent. So let me hit submit. And this, I think this is Illinois. This is Illinois. Come on. Oh, I wonder if it's slow because I'm on Zoom. Okay, here we go. And these are the assets. There's 19 right now that are what we call inbound. Okay. So this was assigned on 10/27. It was probably not ready to show condition. This was assigned yesterday. Okay, let's see if he's done his inspection. Yep, Jeb's done it. Good guy, actually. Okay. So I get to see what's going on with this property. This gets assigned. This is not listed. This is just assigned to the agent. And typically, if there's no issues with the property, because you're going to have to do your initial inspection, and I don't want to go deep into that. We'll have a whole class on that. But you do initial inspection, everything checks out, 7 to 10 days, then it gets a listing. So in that period of time, you have this address, you've already seen it, you've taken your photos. Now, obviously, you're going to have individual photos that you've taken yourself, but here is the photos of this property right here that's already put into a form that they give to HUD. So you can see what we take. Oh, is that a sticker or somebody leave something behind? Who left Jesus behind? That's pretty raw. Sorry, sorry, squirrel. I went off. So anyway, this is what you would turn in the photos, but they install the lockbox. They have the key code already because they have key codes, specific ones to HUD, and you lock it up, and there you go. So you get somebody out there. You got somebody that you know that's looking for stuff in that area. Get them the hell out there. Do not let them go in by themselves. You go. Okay. Otherwise, you'll get in trouble for giving the HUD code out. Okay. What else? Here he already took his marketing photos. You have to load those in. Keep in mind, this is not listed yet. Okay. Anyway, just a little, I'll give a whole class on this if and when that time comes for everybody. Okay. And then,
Can you do dual agent on these or no?
say again?
Can you do dual agent on these?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right now, HUD gives up to 3%. Oh, well, not, I'm sorry. They give the listing broker 3%. Okay.
Okay.
No deductions, no nothing. 3% gross sale price. On the selling side, they give up to 3%. So in other words, the selling broker or buyer's agent can choose up to, they can anywhere up to 3%. All right. Now, I've asked my guy about this and he said, I don't think we're going to change, but because of this NAR stuff and all the stuff, blah, 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 blah. He says, I don't think we're going to change, but we might, I'll know more in a month or so. And I was like, okay, that's cool. But that's a good thing to know, how they're going to work that.
Okay, but that's cool though. Even as a listing agent, you still get 3%. So that's good.
Yes.
It might be like 6% total for both sides.
Yes, but typically what I do because the way HUD, well, it's, I guess everybody, but HUD looks at it, on HUD properties, you can ask for closing costs, this, that, and the other, up to 3% in closing costs. But when you do that, then it reduces the net to HUD. Okay.
Mhm.
And that's all they look at is their net.
Mhm.
Okay. That's how they determine if a bid is won or lost, the net to HUD. Okay. And typically that's the way a seller does it, but we don't represent it that way. You know what I mean? As agents, we don't, here's a net sheet. Yeah. Investors, yes. Most homeowners, we don't give them a net sheet. You know what I mean? Unless they ask.
Todd,
But
I got a question when you have a minute.
sure.
So Brenda, you were asking about the all of the pieces on the listing side of HUD. And Michelle, you don't know about this, but you and I need to do this. So Brenda, when you first came on, we set aside all of the documents that you needed to be able to try to get in for HUD listings. Todd,
Right.
I think it might be a good idea for you and I to double check some of those, let everybody know, is everything updated? So when this does pull, we'll have everything again. So Brenda, you should be all set with that. And Michelle, you and I have to do that. Heather, I'm not sure if yours are done. If not, we'll do that too.
I have
Okay.
another question. I just
Mhm.
remembered. So I'm already registered as a like a bidder
Mhm.
on there. Do I have to do anything to change the brokerage? Because I remember you said before that you have to register under your broker.
Oh,
and mine
yes,
is a broker.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You must change that.
Okay.
It stopped sharing, right?
And Michelle, you can get that information also from New Jersey, from the broker team. We can talk about that offline.
Okay. Thanks.
I did have a question as well, Todd, when you were mentioning
Unmute her.
There's a love-hate thing going on there, by the way.
Yeah. You were mentioning 50-50 shot of getting EXP agents in for the HUD
Yeah.
listings. What would cause some EXP agents not to be able to get approved?
If we get it, well, let me answer your question directly. Experience be number one. Have you done REO in the past? All right. That's the first thing they're going to look at. Second is how timely we get these applications in. All right. Number three, I'm going to put, because you're on the team, I'm going to put my resume behind your resume with an explanation that I've been a HUD listing broker. I am your trainer. I'm working with this, and you know me. Most of them, you know me, but I'm going to be calling them. I'm going to be texting them. I have many of their cell phone numbers, or I'm going to be email blasting them, saying, "Hey, I want to get so and so in." Okay, I'll take responsibility for them and take the hit if you don't do a good job. And I'm going to be up your ass if you don't do a good job. So that's the way it is. If I'm going to
Alright.
put my name on the line, I'm going to be on you. Okay.
So basically, we're relying on you selling the team and
Yeah.
the agents. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And that's one of the reasons why my boys and girls over there, I need some of those REOs to get out to us. All right. I know they pushed it about 150 out. He didn't tell me exactly where or when, and you know, all that stuff, but I need for us to get some so I can say you have some REO experience. I can sell that easier. And I was hoping by now we would have already had that. All right. And, you know, hopium, you know, whatever. So here we are. So anyway, that's where we kind of stand with that.
One other.
Did I answer your question, by the way?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Does HUD allow for co-lists?
Meaning,
Well, if there's agents that don't have HUD experience, could you be a co-list agent for
No.
them?
unless I'm licensed in that state, no way.
But, okay, so if you're licensed in the state, you can. So would that same
Well, then
thought,
it would be my account.
so you can't co-list? Okay,
They do not allow quote referral fees, but in our case, all right, because of EXP and how it's structured and this, that, and the other, you can. For example, what's going to happen because the way a EXP is structured, I'm licensed in Florida. Well, I'm going after Florida. All right. I'm going after Jacksonville. Big time. All right. Now, am I going to run down there and do initial inspections and periodic inspections and do all that stuff? No, I'll do the paperwork. Send me the photos, send me the information. I'll turn all the paperwork in. I'll get it listed in the MLS. But I'm going to pay an EXP broker or agent down there to do my stuff, and we're going to split. But because I can do it internally with EXP, it does not have to go on the HUD.
yeah, I guess I'm just trying to see how we can make sure that everybody is included, right? If they don't have experience, can
That's not the
they
ultimate.
gain experience by being a co-list? And I think what you just described is the answer, right? Have it internal.
Could be. But you have to understand whoever we would promote. In other words, you want the account yourself because you're going to make the most money and that gives you props on your resume. Okay. I'm a neighborhood listing broker for HUD. Yay. Okay. But you get to put that on your resume because it's true. All right. But if you're a co-list, you don't get those props. You could put it on. I assisted, and I did most of the work, like a lot of things happen. But at the same time, you don't get those props.
No, I get that. I think it's just more about just getting that experience. So then, the next round, right?
But that could be 4 or 5 years later.
Yeah.
And let me back up for a minute because this is recorded now and people who are newer that might listen. Once these contracts are announced and it becomes totally public, okay? Everybody who is currently a HUD listing broker in that state and people who ever wanted to get in are going to start submitting all their stuff. It's very competitive. It's the easiest 3% you will ever make in real estate. I promise you that. Okay. It is competitive, but once all of those applications come in and they decide who's going to get what, okay, in the areas, it's very difficult to get into HUD a year later with the asset managers that are currently 2 years later, unless somebody dies, goes out of business, or they have usually matter of fact, I just had the asset manager come to me for someone, Jeb Blazengate that we just looked at. I showed you the form on him. I recommended him for an area that they did not have covered in Southern Illinois. Okay. because he's good. He's an REO guy and he's good, and he did not get in the first time, but they had usually it's very rural areas that they have trouble covering. But the main cities, they have no trouble. Everybody wants to do it. Okay. That's why getting these applications and submissions in the minute we find out about them, that's why we'll have, it won't be, well, on Wednesday we'll do it. No. I'll be blowing everybody up. We know who's who in the zoo. Let's get on a Zoom call. Let's get your shit done now. Okay. So that'll be the way that works. All right, Lynn, you look like you had another question.
About who's who in the zoo and we'll get the shit together. I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Sounds like me, right?
Sounds like you.
The picture behind me, right? Okay. It's a farm, okay? You can't take the farm out of the guy, sorry.
I just want to make sure, Michelle and Brenda, you understand that we're talking about two different things, HUD and REO, and I know they kind of get mixed, but the HUD part, that's hopefully happening soon. The REO is going to start trickling in from the heat map. So they're two separate things that we're trying to get you all hooked in. So Michelle, I know.
Why is REO separate? Is HUD, well, because REO is bank owned properties and then HUD is just HUD owned properties. Is that why it's considered separate?
Yes and no. It's a different beast. All right. Fannie Mae, FHA, HUD. FHA is HUD. Okay. Ginnie Mae, Freddie Mac, all of those. Look at them at like an insurance company. Okay. Wells Fargo writes a FHA loan or whatever, another loan for Freddie or Fannie, whatever. They write the loan. It goes bad. The bank who wrote the loan must be the one to initiate and foreclose on the property. Then, once they foreclose on the property, they have a decision to make. Do we keep it and list it ourselves because we think we can get our money back and more, maybe? Or do I turn it into HUD as an insurance claim because they insure the top 20%? Okay. Do I turn it in as an insurance claim and they work out their money and HUD pays them, HUD takes the property and then puts it out for sale? Okay. Usually when those entities take those properties, it's a loss anyway. All right. The banks are going to keep the ones they can either break even on or make money on. Okay. That's just the way that's going to work. Okay. So the other ones are going to get a loss, so they're going to give it to whomever. And
So basically, so REOs are the ones that the bank thinks that they can make their money back on.
most
And
of the time.
HUDs are the ones that the banks feel are at a loss.
Well, straight conventional loans, 80-20 or better, the bank owns it. They're not going to turn it. They have nobody to turn it into. It's only if they're written on those specific type of programs for those companies, because they buy the paper on the secondary market. I don't want to get into all that. So,
Okay, all right. Okay.
Does that make sense? Confusing?
I think so. I mean, if it's a conventional loan, the bank is more likely to keep it and try and sell it as a REO. And
Well, they have to. If it's conventional, they don't have anybody to give it to.
And so if it's FHA, they can make the decision whether they keep it or they give it back to
Fannie or a Freddie or a Ginnie Mae or one of those. Yeah.
And then so the Fannies, the Ginnies, the
PAs.
Freddies, all that goes to well, if they decide to turn it over, it goes to the HUD home store. And then
Not all of them, just FHA loans.
just FHA.
Just FHA. Okay. That's what HUD is, FHA. I forget Ginny and Freddie and all of them, they have their own programs and the paper's written and it's underwritten, all that's through them. The scary thing is about 2 years ago, Fannie Mae reduced the credit score to 560.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2008, 9, and 10 all over again. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For you older folks that have been through it.
560, really?
560. Now, nobody's really writing paper at that level. but they did. I saw the memo about a year and a half, 2 years ago. They reduced, yeah, 560.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Anyway, hit me with anything else.
So you said that only FHA goes to the HUD Home Store,
Correct.
not VA.
Not VA. VA
Okay.
is their own thing, and we'll talk about that when that time comes to.
Okay.
I keep up with all of them. Now, Fannie, well, I've gotten in with Fannie before, but their inventories got so low, they eliminated a bunch of brokers just because the inventory wasn't there. It's a lot of database to maintain. But Freddie Mac, oh my God, you talk about a good old boy system. Once you're in, I don't care how bad you screw up, you're not, unless you die, you're still there. Some of these Freddie Mac brokers in town, oh my God, they're the worst agents I've ever seen in my life.
Well, you got a bunch of women here, Todd. Is it only old boys?
Oh, come on.
We're the old boys too.
Being a generic term for both male and female. Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I told you I've worked a couple deals, foreclosures, right? I did the HUD Home Store. I did I think I just did like a regular traditional REO, and the agents that I dealt with, I'm not gonna say anything, but like I can see once you're in like on that stuff. I don't know. You know, I don't hear from
Yeah.
anybody. You
Oh,
know.
and most of them try to
Yeah.
get a hold of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, try to call them sometime. Just pick any REO agent in your town.
Yeah.
And try to get a hold of them on the phone.
You can't. You
No,
can't.
you can't.
No, that's what I'm
These
saying.
assholes don't know. Oh my God.
I'm like, hello, am I alone here? Hello.
Most of them in my area, I have the cell phone number. I text them, answer the damn phone. I just called you.
I
3
know.
times.
I tried to.
I'm like, God, oh, come on. Anyway, I'll go. I've got a hard stop. You know what? I think I'm going to end it here, and then we'll pick up and go into the lead gen. So we have a few more minutes. Let's ask any questions you may have. Want clarity on something, or something else, whatever. I didn't expect to go this long on this.
Michelle, definitely reach out, okay? We need to meet for you to get ready for this. I mean, if
If that's what
the
you want
HUD
to do.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, exactly. But there's other stuff we've got to do for you. How's everything going through EXP? Are you overwhelmed?
Look at that expression.
I was up to like 1 o'clock in the morning the other night, just like my eyes bleeding because I was like, I had like, I think I had like 10 emails, and each of the emails had like a list of 10 things. I'm like, oh my God, I hope I don't miss anything.
Oh,
I
you know what?
did.
One
Oh my
step at
God.
a time. You don't eat that elephant
I
all at
did.
once.
That's what I did. I had to break it into small pieces and like just go email by email. I actually got an email today. I sent an email. I got an email. Let's start over. I got an email from the GSMLS. They're like, okay, all your stuff's transferred, you're all good to go. I'm like, okay, great. And then I got another email today, and they said, oh, you're not in good standing with your board anymore, so possible suspension. I'm like, whoa, hold on. What? So I emailed them back. I said, what is going on here? I'm like, I just switched brokers, and I don't know if something happened, or maybe I said, I think the email's an error because I sent all my paperwork in. I sent all the paperwork in to like transfer my GSMLS and my my you know, my realtor or my brokerage. So I'm trying to figure that out right now.
All right. Well, we can actually let's connect after this call.
Oh,
Okay.
while
Yeah.
we're on here, I want to mention one more thing. Because this is recorded and people will watch this later. Agent Invest. I want you to, oh, I'm not sharing anyway. It doesn't make any difference. Oh, Gio, good God.
Oh, and will you tell us what stuff we need to get together?
I will do that with you, Michelle.
When the time comes, we can send for the HUD stuff. That's
Today, we need to talk today and set up
Okay.
all right, we'll do it all at once.
I'm going to put this in the chat. Her name is Dina Iverson. That's her, oh, spell Todd, spell. I want you to reach out to her and ask her if she is looking for properties off market or otherwise, on market or off market. They'll do wholesale deals too. And we'll talk about that in the next meeting. Ask her if she does them in your area. And if she does, I want you to sign up with them. And you tell her that I, with BWB, said you contact her and get signed up if they are looking for properties in your area.
Is that for both of us or just for Michelle?
Everybody,
Everybody,
everyone,
So
everyone that watches.
Dina Iverson,
Mhm.
And
Dina
where-
at agentsinvest.com.
Dina Iverson at agentsinvest.com.
No, just Dina. It's in the chat. Oh, you're on the phone. Okay, I know. Trust me, on my phone, I can hardly see anything.
I'll send it to you
Yeah.
by chat.
What
Oh.
does Dina do, Todd?
She recruits agents that are in markets that they're looking for to find off market, even on market properties for about 350 to 400 regular investors that they have. The great thing about them is they will deal with wholesale properties, in other words, contract assignments, whereas express offers, they will not. It must be a takedown, okay? A total takedown or closing. They must own it, in other words.
Hmm.
And if they are, then we're going to talk about that. Now, there is, let me see if I can find the website. No, I have it saved.
It's Todd, it's agents, plural invest.
Yes, that is correct.
All right, I just, Brenda, the second one I'm sending, the first one didn't have an S.
Okay, something did pop up from you, so
I
I'll check.
use the second one.
Okay. And we just
All right.
send her an email saying, like for me, I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Does she have is she looking for any properties or is
Yes,
that the?
just ask if she's looking for any off-market or on-market properties that investors can buy.
Okay,
And tell her that I sent you, Todd from
Okay.
Indiana.
okay.
All right,
I will do that today.
here is the website. I'm already a member, so I'm already in. But here's what it looks like when you want to submit a deal. Name, email, agent phone, blah, blah, blah. Oh, important thing. They charge a 25% referral fee. If it's on market, 25%. Okay. If it's off market, I want to say it's a minimum, it's $1,200 or an assignment deal, in other words. Or 3%. I don't know. I can get all that information. I signed a form and this, that, and the other. So anyway,
Do we go in that situation? Do we go and approach let's say the owner of the property and get the property under a contract and then submit it?
nope. Not yet. We're going to talk about that's what I was trying to get to today, but we're out of time.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I'll be talking all about that
Okay.
and more. But this is what it looks like. What you have to have upload files. The property data is an assignment wholesale, blah, 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 no contingencies. And you can write a synopsis. So, but they are looking for properties big time. And
Okay.
what I liked about them is if I find a wholesale deal, I can get the wholesaler, because I've got a couple of wholesalers in my area that they'll pay 2.7%, 3%, 2.5%, whatever, to the agent that finds the buyer. Okay. And I guarantee you your area has the same thing too. So anyway, but we are going to get to that next week for sure.
Awesome.
But I do want you to reach out to her and see if they are looking for stuff in your.
Okay, I'll do that today.
All right. Well, if we don't have anything else, I'm going to take off.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Todd.
Bye.
Thanks, Todd.
Have a great week.
You
You
too.
too.
All right, bye.
Bye. Bye, guys.
All right, Lynn, I'm going to stop.
Okay.